Welcome to my PLC program final here. We have our process cookie plant, Ben's Kitchen, aka. We have our here. So I made a little quick function chart to describe what's going on with this process, just because we are used to somewhat making sequential function charts. So you can see our steps we've taken, our 4 steps, and then we got our transitions right here, and then we have our actions in the very far right. So initially, you're going to wait for the batch order instructions, and then you're going to push the start button as a transition to preheat the oven. So the oven has then a set point reached at 350 degrees. In our video, if you're describing it shortly, we're going to put it just to 100 just so it just saves us some time. And then so our transition to step 2 would be our oven hot. And then it would get hot and it would dispense a batch of cookies. And our actions would be our raw conveyor and decorated conveyor would be a dispenser cutter and our oven run package. So going our transition into step 3, we'll have our batch complete, and then going to packaging the batch, it would activate the action of raw and decor conveyor, oven run, and packaging. Then going to our transition to pack complete, and finally a complete process for our final step. Then we have our equipment reset in the very bottom, and now we're going to transition over to CodeSys and see how this runs. So essentially, this is what it looked like before, and so it's for now it's all automated. So all this relies heavy on manual operation, and the manual operators made complaints to management accordingly. And so my assignment duty is to make all this automated, like I mentioned before, and it already is. So I'm a controls technician for a new process line at Ben's Kitchen. So to produce lovely Christmas cookies, of course, throughout for the whole month of December. And so as of right now, that is lacking PLC programming to make components function better. So that's what it looked like before, but it's already automated. So a little brief description. Before operation, manually, you're supposed to press down all these little buttons right here. So dispense, and then you would hit cutter, and then finally you would have to run your conveyor manually. Then you have to extend it, pushing it. Then you actually have to run your oven, pushing all of these buttons manually. So the dough dispenser wasn't really working properly, and then it allowed our process error to turn on. I do remember trying this, but as soon as we got the assignment, and the process error light would always shine. So typically, if this goes all through, the cookie will fall into the plate and then pushed into this box down here. And then when the box reaches its fulfillment, in the instructions it says 12 cookies. Then you have to replace it with a new box. So like I said, this is all manual before, so it was just a pain, kind of a tedious instruction to do. So now we made a function block for this right here for our start and stop, and of course they're installed wireless outputs. So once the oven should be preheated to 350 degrees, but we have 100 in our demonstration. The conveyors will automatically start working right here. Our extend is going to work, our decor proximity, and our plate proximity we have, which is the limit switch, and our dough dispenser along with our cutter. So once dough dispenser gets to the bottom, there is a limit switch at the bottom allowing it to reset. Then the cookie press will sense when cookies are in the right place and it will press them down. So our decor proximity decoration conveyor must be running. When cookies are in the middle of the conveyor, instructions say they're evenly, so every cookies are evenly spaced 0.25 seconds of interval at appropriate speed, as we have set in our function block. I can show you in a second. So a delay is required for the applicator to hit the cookie, and so the extend limit switch for the cookie before getting another cookie. And when a box gets to 12, like down here, it will be replaced, and a certain batch of cookies, the process will stop. So I think I have at 12, and you can put it to 24, and as I can show you my function block just right after this. Okay, so now we're going to fire this bad boy up and have it run online. So we are going to have this set to 2 batches. You can see our colors of cookies we have here. We'll start with red, keep it red. So we start it. So now we're waiting for this to reach 100 degrees, and it takes a little bit of time. But oven is preheating to 100 rather than 350, like I mentioned, to save some time. And so there we go. You get 1 cookie to go. And so once 100 degrees, everything is running. Our dough dispenser, our conveyor, our cutter at an appropriate speed. You can see everything is running automatically. I'm not pushing any buttons. Our extend limit switch cookie press will extend when the cookies are in the right position. There we are. And our dough dispenser will reset automatically. And we can let this keep running. So we can let this keep running, and if I forgot to mention this, if we were to stop so it's counting up, but we're going to stop this, it's going to stop the complete process. As it stops the complete process, you can see our item count on our conveyor is still at 10, but if we hit our stop, press twice, our dough dispenser is set to an appropriate level and our conveyor will reset the item count. So I'm going to hit, there we go, it has hit that twice, so you can see this go back up, and now we are back at 0. So I'm going to start this again. So we're waiting for this to get 100. Here we are. Everything is running again. Oven has to preheat to 100 degrees. And as the process was just turned off, I turned it back on. So we're going to wait to receive our first decorative cookie batch. We're going to wait till this gets to 12, and it will stop the process. So we just got a little bit more to go. It'll just reset just right after 12. Or it'll just stop the process. Sorry, not reset. So we can wait just a little longer. So we got everything working automatically, excuse me. And our extend limit switch was going off literally just before this. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's probably just a little delayed. Okay, we're gonna hit 10. We're gonna hit 12, excuse me. And we're gonna stop the process. And everything will be working just fine. So one more. Boom. And that is everything. For going to 12, it goes back to 1. So everything seems to be running automatically fine. And so I'm going to go offline and show you my function block. Okay, so this is my big old cookie process function block. This is kind of what it was. So this was all by itself at the very beginning, just tied to these. So I'm going to go over my function blocks I have here. So of course we have our start stop. And so you're going to start just like our usual industrial start and stop. We've been doing this for a while now. We have our negated contact, our batch limit, and we have run. And of course, we're going to do, when you press the stop twice, it's going to reset the conveyor we have right over here. Now you can see our other function blocks here. We're just going to move to the right. We're going to see our dispense run. So you can see that it turns on the first oven with the run, and once our oven reaches its set point, which is at 350 degrees, but we had it to 100, everything else will run. So you can see that the raw conveyor is going to be running, and so our cookie process won't till the oven is at its set point you have right here. So most functions are actually tied to this function block, along with the processes we got. So we have our direct decoration setup. We can do, which you can see all of these coils are actually pretty much replicas, copy and paste we have here, except for our second and third. You can see our red out, green out, and our white out, and it'll have go with the conveyor and that. So, and you can see our, like I said, the 0.25 intervals I asked for instructions. So we're going to go back and we're going to go to our decor procs. If you're going to see that it's going to be a run, decor extend limit switch, and our decor extend. So we're going to go back to our new box. So we're here, and you can see that essentially when it reaches 24 cookies, it will stop the process. You can always manually change this to 12 times 3, 12 times 4, 48, 36. And so manually having to change process variables and start the process again, as this is a challenge in my program. But yeah, essentially you're going to have a new cookie, it's going to hit 12, and it's going to assign a new box. Which you can see that it'll trigger over here, it'll trigger the replace box right here, the new box. Like, it's all tied to this function block, as all my function blocks are automatic inputs and outputs for this cookie process function block. So like I said, none of this was here before, but then we did assign it some assigned instructions. So everything's running smoothly, and this was my PLC program final project, and as I showed you, we had this run and we demonstrated how it was automatic, but before it was manual. So it was a fun project, but this is the end, and happy holidays.